space open, and they will walk Gibson with Harris coming up.
Well, you've got to believe that he's going to put him on with 4 pitches.
He told him 4, he's coming out.
I've had good success. You want the infield in on him?
No. He don't want to walk you. Yeah, he don't want to walk you.
Well, they're making a decision here, and Williams is in charge.
And Gossett is saying, I can get him. Well, we'll see. And there it goes.
This is Mel Allen with the 50 greatest home runs in baseball history. In baseball, there's nothing more majestic than the home run. Instantly, it renders everyone else on the field motionless, and yet simultaneously brings thousands of fans to their feet. The home run is why hope lives eternal in the heart of baseball fans. You never know when it will strike, and when it does, it can change the course of history. Home run hitters have made up baseball's greatest legends and most charismatic players, and none more so than the Babe. When Babe Ruth came along, baseball was in decline. Enter the Sultan of Swat, who could seemingly hit a home run whenever he wished. Some say he did precisely that in the 1932 World Series, calling his shot before hitting it. Home runs like that brought the romance back to baseball. Unfortunately, many of these home runs were never preserved on film or tape, but from the thousands that were, we've selected 50 of the greatest and most entertaining. So folks, just sit back and enjoy a long ball bonanza with 50 of the greatest home runs in baseball history. Hank Aaron hit what is perhaps baseball's most memorable home run, the night he eclipsed the Babe.
He's sitting on 7-14. Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron. The fireworks are going. Henry Aaron is coming around third. His teammates are at home plate. And listen to this crowd. A sellout crowd is cheering Henry Aaron, the home run king of all time. 7-15 came on a ball.
Henry Aaron made his mark by hitting more home runs than a bona fide legend. But even the less prolific can be thrilled by a home run. Take Dwayne Kuiper of Cleveland, who went to bat almost 3,400 times in his career and only did this once.
1-0 pitch to the left-hand batter. He drives one down the right field line, headed for the wall. It's gone!
Ray Kuiper just hit his first major league home run. How about that?
Hey, look at Dwayne mend those bases.
Oh, is he one happy ball player?
For Dwayne, it was a career home run, one that was good for a career. Next stop, Brooklyn, the last game of the regular season, where the Phillies' Dick Sisler had 2 men on in the 10th inning.
Swinging a fly very, very deep toward left field. Moving back, Abrams, way, way back. He can't get it. It's a home run. A home run for Dick Sisler.
A home run that gave the Phillies the 1950 pennant over Brooklyn, and Sisler a niche in home run history. It would be 30 years before the Phils would win another pennant. But first, Mike Schmidt looked to clinch the division on the next to last day of the year.
The pitch to Schmidt. Long drive to left field. He buried it. He buried it way back. Out of here. Home run. Mike Schmidt puts the Phillies up 6-4. Oh, what a drive by Schmidt. Unbelievable. He hit that thing deep to the seats in left field. And the Phillies greet Schmidt at the plate. Mike clasps his hands. He shakes hands with all of his teammates. What a wild scene in Montreal.
The Phils went on to win both the pennant and their first World Series. In Cincinnati, the stage was set for Johnny Bench Night to honor perhaps the greatest catcher of all time.
You have made this day complete. You have made it better than I could have ever written a script for. I thank you so much. My family thanks you. I appreciate you. And I'm going to try like hell to play good for you tonight. Thank you.
Well, that script got just a little better when the game began, and Johnny kept his word.
There it is. Deep to left. Cruz going back. And it's gone. Oh, my. A home run for Bench on his night. Look at John. Number 389. And this crowd capacity is going crazy.
Ted Williams was another guy who had a knack for rising to the occasion. Take, for instance, the last at-bat of his amazing career.
Well, you can bet your bottom dollar Williams would like to hit one out of here right now. There's a drive to deep right center. This may be gone. Fred way back there watching. Home run! Ted Williams. Well, if you had written it that way, nobody would believe it, so I even tried.
Phillies pitcher Rick Wise is an unlikely inclusion in the 50 greatest home runs, but in fact he hit 6 in 1971, 2 in this game.
There's a well-hit ball, deep left field. That might go. It is a home run for Rick Wise, his second of the game. And what a story this is.
He is putting on quite a show here tonight. Can't pitch any better, and you can't hit any better.
Well, actually, Wise did pitch better than he hit. And there's only one way a pitcher tops 2 home runs.
Full count to Pete Rose. Well, it's gone down to the wire. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing a line drive. He did it. Vukovich made the grab. Wise has done it. A no-hit, no-run game.
In Cleveland, it was a most historic day as the first black manager made his debut. But Frank Robinson was a manager and a player, and he made darn sure that nobody forgot.
Pitch to Robinson. Line drive to left field. Well back. It is gone.
Well, I'd have to say that is quite a way to break it as a manager.
2 of the 50 greatest home runs took place with Seattle, where the Mariners featured the first father and son ever to play together on the same team. And on this day, Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. made home runs a family affair.
The one thing that I've always said about Ken Griffey is that he is the best fastball hitter I've ever seen in my 20-plus years in the major leagues.
Ken Griffey Jr. is on deck. Well hit to center field. Devon White going back. Gone! A two-run home run.
And he can still hit anybody's fastball.
An instantaneous 2-0 Seattle lead. And 40-year-old Ken Griffey hits his third home run since coming to the Mariners. So here's Ken Jr. hitting .299, 19 homers and 67 RBIs. And he hits one well to left center field. Dante Bichette. Back-to-back home runs.
What else can these guys do?
Not to be outdone, says Junior. His 20th of the year.
Now here's Jack Howell. Jack had a home run and a run-scoring double last night. Breaks his bat and hits a drive to right field. It's a broken bat home run.
How do you like
believe
that?
it? Check the bat, right?
Check the bat is right. The broken part went beyond first base.
And they want to check it, too. That's the first broken bat home run I've ever seen. Ever.
In the seats. I can't believe it. They want the bat. Pinella wants that bat.
And everybody's hollering the bat, the bat. John Shulak says, oh, never mind. A broken bat home run hit about 350 feet. That ought to go in a trophy case, pal. Watch this bat disintegrate. He's going to wind up holding the handle. The meat part of the bat went down to first base, but where the ball wound up is shocking.
Baseball's first All-Star game was held in 1933, and quite appropriately, Babe Ruth hit the first All-Star homer. But for sheer All-Star drama, we must go to Briggs Stadium in Detroit, where, with the American League trailing 5-4, a young Ted Williams came to the plate, 2 on, 2 out, the 9th inning.
Williams swings. There's a high drive going deep, deep. It is a home run against the tip top of the right field stand. An American League 7-5 win.
Yes, hitting that home run in the All-Star game in the 9th inning was certainly a big thrill, and I'll never forget the rest of my life.
5 years later, in front of the hometown fans in Fenway Park, the American League romped 12-0, thanks to 2 home runs by Williams. But it was the second home run, hit off the seemingly unhittable eephus pitch of Rip Sewell, that caused such a stir. It might have been the first time the arc of a hit off the eephus pitch actually went higher than the pitch itself. But even in the rich tradition of the All-Star game, one feat had never been accomplished. No man had hit a grand slam. Then along came Freddie Lynn.
He out at first, Carew at second, Trio at third. 2 out. And he drives it to deep right. Back goes Murphy, away back, and there it is, the first grand slam in All-Star history. The first grand slam home run in All-Star history, hit by that man, smiling Fred Lynn.
Atlanta was the site for one of baseball's least expected and least welcome home runs. The Braves and the Mets in the strangest of games. There were rain delays, guys getting thrown out, and a July 4th fireworks display for after the game. Long about the 13th inning and the next day, the Mets took a 2-run lead, but the Braves came back to tie it. Then in the 18th, the Mets regained the lead by 1, and Atlanta relief pitcher Rick Camp, who had never hit a big league home run, came to the plate.
It'll be an 0-2 pitch. And he is at the deep left. Heat goes back. It is gone. Holy cow. Oh, my goodness. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Rick Camp. Rick Camp. I don't believe it. That certifies this game as the wackiest, wildest, most improbable game in history.
Well, Camp's moment of glory didn't last very long, as the Mets scored 5 in the 19th inning and won 16-13, with the last out made by Camp himself. The game ended at 3:55 a.m., and the Braves rewarded their faithful and woke up Atlanta with some fireworks. In 1951, the groundwork had been laid for baseball's most often heard home run. The New York Giants had made up 13.5 games on the Brooklyn Dodgers to finish the regular season all tied up. A 3-game playoff was deadlocked at 1 win apiece, and in the bottom of the 9th inning of Game 3, the Giants trailed 4-2. But with 2 on, Ralph Branca came on to pitch. And up to bat came Bobby Thompson.
Bobby Thompson up there swinging. Branca throws. There's a long bag. I can't be, I believe. The Giants won the pennant. 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 Bobby Thompson hits into the very back of the left field stand. The Giants won the pennant, and they're going crazy. They're going crazy.
That call by Giants broadcaster Russ Hodges has become a part of baseball folklore. But Dodger fans were listening to the Dodgers broadcast, and they heard Red Barber.
The last half of the night, the Giants' chances look slim, almost nil. Now it's a 4-2 ball game in favor of Brooklyn, but the Giants have the tying run at second base, and Thompson is to hit next. Old number 13, Ralph Branca, comes on to relieve now. Big Branca called on for his most important job in his baseball career. Here it is. Branca pumps, delivers, the curve swung on and fell to deep spot to left field. It is a home run. And the New York Giants win the National League pennant, and the Polo Grounds go wild.
This was a playoff game in its purest form. But in 1969, baseball assured itself of playoffs every year by adopting 2 divisions in each league and holding the best of 5 league championship series to determine the pennant. All of which brings us back to the Bronx, where the best of 5 series between the Yankees and Kansas City was tied 2 games apiece. The game was tied at 6, and the Yankees' Chris Chambliss was leading off in the bottom of the 9th inning.
And there's a long drive to right field. This may be the end of the pennant, but see, it is up and gone. The Yankees in the pennant as Chris Chambliss hits a home run, and the Yankees in the pennant 7-6. Chambliss is being tackled. He has got to be allowed to touch the bases and get to home plate. Home plate is unguarded. He has not even touched home plate, and he goes into the safety of the dugout. Chambliss has won the pennant for the New York Yankees on the first pitch in the bottom of the 9th inning.
2 years later, the Yankees needed an extra game just to reach the championship series. They had finished the regular season tied with the Red Sox and went to Boston for a one-game playoff. That's when Bucky Dent made history.
The count's 1-1. 2 outs and 2 on. The Red Sox lead at 2-0 in the 7th inning here at Fenway. Deep to left. Yastrzemski will not get it. It's a home run. A 3-run home run for Bucky Dent. The Yankees now lead it by a score of 3-2. Boy, the last guy on the ball club you'd expect to hit a home run. Just it went into the screen. Bucky Dent.
The Yankees went on to win the game, the LCS, and the World Series. In 1981, the Dodgers and the Montreal Expos were tied 2 games apiece in their best-of-5 championship series. The game was tied at 1 in the top of the 9th, and Rick Mundy was up with 2 outs.
Here's the 3-1 pitch, and it's swung on, fly ball, center field. Dawson at the wall. That ball is out of here, and a home run for Rick Mundy, and the Dodger bench clears to congratulate Rick Mundy, who has hit a 2-out home run here in the 9th inning. And the Dodgers have gone ahead 2-1.
That proved to be the game winner, and the Dodgers went on to exact some revenge against the Yankees in the World Series. 3 years later, the San Diego Padres trailed their championship series 2-1 to the Cubs. Game 4 tied 5-5 in the 9th. The situation was fertile for a hero.
Pitch on the way to Garvey. Hit high to right center field. Way back. Going. In it. Gone. Steve Garvey in the 9th inning. Hit one over the 370 mark. And the Padres beat the Cubs 7-5. Oh, doctor, you can hang a star on that, baby.
Well, the emotion carried over as the Padres won Game 5 as well, and for the first time ever went on to the World Series. In 1985, the League Championship Series became a best-of-7, and so Game 5 was pivotal but not deadly. Series tied to 2. Game tied at 2. Bottom of the 9th, and Ozzie Smith at the plate.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2 on a home run by the Wizard. Go crazy.
With the Cardinals now up 3-2, the series shifted back to Los Angeles, where in Game 6, the Dodgers led 5-4 with 2 out in the 9th. But Jack Clark had 2 men on.
From the stretch. First pitch hit deep to left field. Way back. Guerrero will look up. Jack Clark has just put the Cardinals ahead. A towering 3-run home run in the 9th inning. The Cardinals have spilled out of the dugout. The Dodgers are quickly running out of tomorrows.
There were no tomorrows for the Dodgers as they lost both the game and the pennant. It was Boston for whom things looked bleak a year later. The Red Sox trailed the Angels 3-1 and were behind 5-4 in the 9th. Donnie Moore needed 1 strike. Dave Henderson 1 swing.
Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball to left field. Downing is going back. It's gone! It is gone! Dave Henderson has homered, and the Boston Red Sox have taken the lead. The crowd is stunned. The Red Sox players are coming out of the dugout to greet Henderson, who has hit a home run. And Boston has come up with 4 runs and have taken a 6-5 lead in the 9th.
Well, the Red Sox won that game in the 11th, then won the next 2 to miraculously win the pennant and meet the Mets in the World Series. And speaking of the Mets, they had some playoff excitement in '86 as well. Game 3 against Houston. Down 5-4 in the 9th, 1 on, 1 out.
Lenny Dykstra, the man they call Neil from the Mets ball club, is waiting. Now the pitch, and a high
high fly ball hit the right field. It is fairly deep. It's way back by the wall.
He did it!
It's a home run! A home run! The Mets win the ball game. Dykstra hits a home run. Ben Dykstra hit a home run. This ball game is over.
The Mets, of course, went on to win the pennant and then tear the heart from Boston in the World Series. This is Luke Appling, a Hall of Fame shortstop who played in the 30s and 40s. Luke went on to play in some old-timers games, but as Luke got older, he got better.
75-year-old Luke Appling, who still works in the Atlanta Braves organization, facing Warren Spahn. Deep to left field, way back there, home run, Luke Appling, 75 years old. Boy, you gotta love it. Is that great, Red?
I told you when you were talking about him at the start, he could still swing that bat 75 or nothing.
Luke Appling rumbles around the bases, 75 years old.
This one hit deep to left field, way back, and an upper decker. My goodness, this one is headed for the roof.
I mean, if they pulled up a battleship out here and shelled this ballpark, they couldn't have put it up there any better than that.
Goodbye, baseball! Way out of here to left center field, way beyond the bullpen. Holy smoke! You talk about a cannon shot. Wow!
Nothing kindles more excitement in baseball than the power hitter, the big bruisers who can hit the ball to the far reaches of your imagination. One of the strongest men ever to play the game was Mickey Mantle. He tested the limits of a ballpark, and some were simply unable to contain him. But perhaps his longest home run came appropriately at home, Yankee Stadium, a shot that was still rising when it hit the facade in right field, a mark Mantle would reach 5 times in his career. Darryl Strawberry can hit the long ball, but none longer than one at Olympic Stadium.
It's a long drive. That ball is out of here. Home run, Darryl Strawberry. That ball may have hit the lights up there. I think it did. I can't believe it. That ball hit the top of the stadium.
With Darryl, even seeing isn't believing. Jimmy Wynn was known as the toy cannon when he played for Houston. He was only 5'9", but had an explosive bat. And one day at Crossley Field, he fired a salvo on the freeway.
Jimmy Wynn, the batter, with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wynn swings and drives deep into left field. Look at this one go, everybody. Up to the scoreboard. It's over the scoreboard, bouncing up onto the freeway. I can see it up there where those automobiles are going. Look at that drive. You talk about a tape measure shot. That has got to be the longest home run I have ever seen hit in Crossley Field, or hit out of it. No question about it. Look at Jimmy Wynn.
In the 1971 All-Star Game, 5 future Hall of Famers hit home runs, and so did one who just might make it 6.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Reggie Jackson. There's a long drive. That one is going way up. It is off the roof. That hit the transformer up there.
I've never seen anyone get out as quickly as that one did, and it looked like it was on the rise. It wasn't a high fly ball. It was going up. What a smash.
Now, hitting a home run into the upper deck in Detroit is not uncommon. But to go beyond that, well, it helps to be as strong as Cecil Fielder.
Long drive, deep left field. This is on the roof, over the roof, gone.
Cecil also took on Milwaukee's County Stadium and won.
Oh, look at this.
Forget it. That might be out of the whole stadium.
It may be. It is.
They went out everywhere, right on over the top.
Cecil Fielder with a monstrous home run. What a blast.
And Jose Canseco christened the Netherland of Toronto Skydome.
Canseco bids for the second homer of the inning. If it's fair, he's got it.
Whoa.
And it settles into the upper deck.
Oh, my goodness.
There's the guy who caught the Canseco home run ball. When you buy a seat in this section of the stadium, you don't exactly come to the park expecting to come away with a souvenir.
This is the story of a man named George Brett, who put some pine tar on his bat to get a better grip, then sought to cancel a 4-3 Yankees lead in the ninth.
The best fastball pitcher in baseball and just about the best fastball hitter in baseball, George Brett. What a confrontation. Just set by Gossage. The pitch deep to right field. Holy cow, I don't believe it. Home run for George Brett. I don't believe it. That lightning could strike twice. And Billy Martin now is coming out. He wants to take a look at that bat. Well, that's a little late. I don't believe it. I told you I had nightmares about this thing. Unbelievable. Look at George Brett. He is getting congratulated, but there's a big huddle out there, and the umpires are going to talk over. They got to get a calibrating machine out here to calibrate this thing and see just how high the pine tar is. And there is a definite rule in the rule book that you cannot have it above a certain distance.
Well, they found that calibrating machine at home plate and determined the pine tar was too high. And the home run that wasn't.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Wait a minute,
I
Bill.
can't
Wait a
believe
minute.
that.
They did that to Thurman Munson out in Minnesota.
Brett is upset, and I can't believe that, Phil.
4 days later, the American League overruled the umpires. Brett's homer stood, and the game was eventually finished with the Royals sticking it out for a 5-4 victory. The magic number for a home run hitter starts at 500. Now, after that, everything is gravy. If you hit more than 500 home runs, there's a pretty good chance you're going into the Hall of Fame. So, in honor of these men who rose far above the rest, here are some selected magic numbers and the magicians who waved the wand.
Here's the pitch to Willie. Swung on, hit deep to left. That one is way back, way back, way back. Pull it goodbye, number 600 for Willie Mays, and the bye-bye Baby Bonanza. And the Giants come to home plate to greet him. Number 600 for Mays. He hit it over the
ballpark. A standing ovation here in San Diego for Willie.
Here's the payoff pitch. This is it. There it goes. It's out of here.
The wind is not a big factor. It's out of the southeast at 7 miles an hour. Jarvis fires away. That's a fly ball deep to left. Back.
That's it. That's it. Hey, he did it. Ernie Banks got number 500. A line drive shot into the seats and left. The ball tossed in the bullpen.
The 3-0 pitch. Swing and long drive. There it is. Number 500. The career 500th home run for Michael Jack Smith. And the Phillies have regained the lead at Pittsburgh 8-6. And the Phillies dugout comes swarming out to home plate.
Jimmy Pearsall also hit a milestone, but in the manner of Pearsall, he did it with a twist.
Duke Snyder pinch hit off a Koufax and hit his 400. And the next day I opened the paper and there was just a little bit of a box in there about his 400 home. I said, Duke, you're a big man in Brooklyn, New York. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame and a great center fielder, but you hit your 400 home run and nobody knows about it. I said, I got 99, and when I hit my 100, I'm going coast to coast. And he said, hit the road. We're playing the Phillies on a Sunday afternoon. And I said to the photographers, keep an eye on me. I don't say anything to the sports writers. I said, watch me today, and I'm going to hit a home run today. And I haven't hit a home run in 2 years, but I'm going to hit one today.
Well, Pearsall kept his word all right, but after hitting his 100th, he ran the bases backwards. Jimmy won his bet, but lost his job.
Well, the next morning I buy papers, and I knew I was going to get some ink, but how much I didn't know. Now, on the front pages of each paper had a sequence of me running around the bases backwards. So I got him a triple hit, and I went to the ballpark. I said, see, Duke, I told you I was going coast to coast. Now, to make a long story short, I got released 2 days later. Casey didn't like my act.
Hank Aaron, as most baseball fans know, went on to hit 755 home runs in his wondrous career, which he finished with the Milwaukee Brewers. And although that's the Major League record, it's not the all-timer. That distinction belongs to Sadaharu Oh, who hit 868 career home runs. And the one that pushed him past Aaron was something special.
投球は第6球目インコース来ました打ったホームランナイスのホームラン756号飛び出しました両手を大きく広げて応戦し今一塁キャンバスを回りましたゆっくりと二塁に向かいます一塁側のジャイアンツのバックアウトから全選手がブルペンからの全選手が今ホームプレートの隙間に集まりました応戦しゆっくりとこれから三塁を回ります三塁キャンバスを回るプレスの拍手
How about that? Not bad for a career in any country. But some guys don't need a lifetime to set some kind of home run record. Willie Mays tied one, and he did it in a day.
The 2-0 delivery, and Mays sends another one. Tell it, bye-bye, baby. Aaron doesn't even move. It's going far up into the center field bleachers. Willie Mays has tied a record, 4 home runs in a game.
Mike Schmidt must have watched Mays as a kid and figured if Willie can do it, he can do it.
Richie Allen is led off with a walk. Here's Mike Schmidt. He swings. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. How about that? That's got to be a first pitch. And Mike Schmidt has drilled his 4th home run.
And remember Bob Horner of Atlanta? Well, he also worked his way into one of baseball's most exclusive clubs.
Reardon delivers. There's a fly ball, deep left center field. Right looking up. He did it. He did it. Bob Horner has become the 11th player in baseball history to hit 4 homers in one game.
Back in 1956, Dale Long hit a home run in 8 consecutive games. Not even Babe or Hank did that. Well, some 31 years later, Don Mattingly had the chance to tie that record.
Hey, did he get all of it? Holy cow, he did it! Holy cow, Mattingly is unbelievable. The opposite field. Holy cow.
And Don Mattingly has just tied a record set back in 1956 by the Pirates' Dale Long. A home run in 8 consecutive games.
Now, we all know Roger Maris holds the all-time record for home runs in a season with 61. But poor Roger first had to deal with the pressure of just tying Ruth's mark of 60. And some of us just happened to be there when he did it.
There it is. There it is. If it stays fair, and it is, number 60. How about that? There's standing ovation. And they're calling him out of the dugout. This is most unusual. They are asking him to come out of the dugout. Now this is something.
It all came down to the last day of the year. If Roger was going to pass the Babe, he'd have to do it in one of these at-bats, down to the wire with one of the greatest home runs ever.
You got a handful of people sitting out in left field, but in right field, man, it is mobbed out there. And they're standing up. Here's the windup. Fastball hits deep to right. This could be it. Way back there. Holy cow, he did it. What's the matter? Look at him fight for that ball out there. Holy cow, what a shot. 51 home runs, and they're still fighting for that ball out there. People were climbing over each other's backs, and they want Maris to come out and take another bow. He does. One of the greatest sights I've ever seen here at Yankee Stadium.
Runners at first and second. Bo Jackson is up. Bo Jackson last year as a rookie set a Royals rookie mark with 22 home runs. He wanted to call time on that pitch and nails it to deep left. Can you believe that? Incredible. He wanted to call timeout, held up his left hand to request time. He didn't get it, swung the bat, hit it out of the park. A 3-run homer. Talk about strength. Now watch this. Takes his hand off the bat, says, I want timeout. Doesn't get it. Whack.
In the World Series, everything is magnified, and nothing more so than a home run. Folks always remember a good World Series blast. Of course, one they might have forgotten came in the 1942 Classic between the Yankees and the Cardinals. Whitey Kurowski hit it off Red Ruffing in the ninth to break a 2-2 tie and give the Cards the series in just 5 games. More recently, you've got Minnesota's Kirby Puckett in the 11th inning of Game 6 against Atlanta.
Puckett swings and hits a blast. Deep left center, way back, way back. The Twins go to the 7th game. Catch 'em all, Kirby Puckett. Catch 'em all, Kirby Puckett. And the Twins have won this game 4-3.
The Twins also won Game 7 in one of baseball's greatest World Series. And if just one World Series home run can be so memorable, what about 3 in one game? Once again, here's Reggie.
Jackson with 4 runs batted in. Sends a fly ball to center field. game. Babe Ruth did it on 2 occasions, in 1926 and in 1928.
It was Reggie's finest hour as the Yankees won the series, and Reggie was named Most Valuable Player. On to Forbes Field in Pittsburgh for the single most dramatic World Series home run. 7th game against the Yankees, 6-6 the score when Bill Mazeroski led off in the 9th.
There's a swing and a high fly ball going deep to left. This may do it. Back to the wall goes Berra. It is over the fence, home run. The Pirates win.
It was the only time ever that a home run won a World Series in the last at bat. Then there's Carlton Fisk, whose Red Sox trailed Cincinnati 3-2. 12th inning, game 6, score 6-6.
There it goes, a long drive. If it stays fair, home run.
Even though Boston lost Game 7, they can always lay claim to winning what may have been baseball's greatest World Series game. Finally, Kirk Gibson, barely able to walk, called on to pinch hit with 1 on, 2 out, and the Dodgers trailing Oakland by 1 run in the 9th inning.
All year long, they looked to him to light the fire, and all year long, he answered the demands until he was physically unable to start tonight with 2 bad legs. And with 2 out, you talk about a roll of the dice. This is it. 4-3 A's, 2 out, 9th inning. Not a bad opening act. High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
Man alive, it was the kind of moment home runs were meant to be. And you've just seen 50 of the best. And talking about the greatest home runs, you never know when they'll strike. But you can bet your life there will always be more. This is Mel Allen saying, thanks a lot for watching, everybody.